Hello buddy, welcome back to another video. Insane Frame here, and in our last video we tried beating Fallout New Vegas with 1 endurance and no healing. That was absolutely brutal, so let's try out a different challenge. Today we asked the question, can you beat Fallout 4 with a lead pipe? The lead pipe is a very straightforward weapon with limited workbench mods, however it does have a decent enough swing speed and its damage, whilst not staggering, is something we can work with. All that small spiel out the way, let's begin going over the rules for the run. We may only use the lead pipe in combat. We can only equip the lead pipe in combat. No glitches or exploits, no cheating or modding, and we're going to be playing on normal difficulty. Alright, with that done, let's get straight into the game. We begin with Frankenstein's bathroom and make our character. He's actually quite handsome with a few stitches in there. He was once brave with a heart, now he just has stitches instead. He lived and still had his freedom, people. Anyway, Nora says it's almost Halloween, very perceptive you, Nora. And then Vault-Tech call, and we're invited to join the Vault. We fill out some paperwork and we call ourselves Stitch Heart. Half Disney character, half Highlander. The perfect match. And as for our stats, we go for a whopping 10 strength, 1 perception, a nice 10 in endurance, 1 charisma, 1 intelligence, 4 agility, which we'll improve on later, and 1 luck. Pretty standard for a melee build, just to hit things really hard. We then run to the vault, the world then ends, we get frozen, and Kellogg Cornflakes then unalives Nora and takes our loaf of bread son as part of his most important meal of the day. Soon we are then released from our pod into the vault, and as always our first obstacle is the Radroaches. We go down the hall, loot around and lock the Radroaches out, and then we soon get the Pip-Boy and open the vault. Once we're out, we see the wasteland for what it is, and then we immediately grab the special book up in our agility. That then makes a total of 5 agility. After the hassle of the vault, we need a friend, and what better friend than Dogmeat? He's fluffy, a good doggo, and it's all good. It's then time to talk with Trudy and deal with Wolfgang, and since we can't attack, Dogmeat, Trudy and her son Patrick do all the fighting for us, and they win. And to my surprise, we also get a level up. We take the Aquaboy perk, which is actually, in my personal opinion, underrated as it lets us breathe underwater. And while swimming, we take no radiation damage, which is really cool. We go swimming and then eventually end up on land again and get to Good Neighbor of all places. But we approach Clea and she has our weapon, our one and only choice, which is the lead pipe. Since we now have a weapon, nothing is stopping us from going to the Triggermen hideout. We take out some Triggermen, level up, we go for the perk Big Leagues, letting us do 20% more damage with melee weapons, which is really nice. Very quickly we get to Nick, he says we need to get out of here, which is fair enough. And another level up comes our way. We go for a stat increase this time of +1 agility, making a total of 6, which is really good. Skinny Malone then monologues when we see him, and we use VATS to take out his goons as well as beat down Darla, then do the same thing to Skinny Malone, and all in a day's work. Nick then invites us to his office to continue the main story. On our way to Diamond City, we grab the intelligence bobblehead, raise our intelligence to 2, then beat up some super mutants, giving us a level up so we can raise our agility to 7, which is amazing. Since we already met Nick, Diamond City is already open, which is lovely. We then go ahead and buy some army fatigues, which is excellent. In Nick's office, Nick agrees to take on our case to help us out for saving him. We go over the details and he draws the conclusion it's Kellogg Cornflakes, and that we should go to his house. Neither of us can pick the lock, so we go to the mayor's secretary where the newspaper girl is annoying the mayor's staff. Anyway, we don't know her, so pretty much ignore her and bribe the mayor's secretary to get Kellogg's house key. We then unlock Kellogg's house, go under the desk to push a switch to reveal a secret room. We have a back and forth with Nick, and Dogmeat, like the good doggo he is, volunteers to get Kellogg sent. But before we go to Fort Hagen, we upgrade all of our level armor, we level up as well in the combat zone to get the armor perk, and we also invest in the Wastelander's chest piece, giving us +1 agility and perception, which will give us an edge. With our armor set, we don't follow Dogmeat, we just walk straight to Fort Hagen, and once there, we destroy a few turrets and level up again, and get another stat increase in agility, so now we've got 8 agility. Fort Hagen is pretty easy until we get to Kellogg, who is a little bit of a challenge, mediocre at best, but we do manage to beat him easy enough, and he's just a glorified courser really. We then find out our loaf of bread son wasn't part of a balanced breakfast, but Kellogg turned him into the Institute, which isn't good. Once outside, the Brotherhood come in full force, but they won't really bother us, and if they're around, they help us out, so either way, it's a welcome addition in my books. With everything wrapped up with Kellogg, it's back to Diamond City to Nick. Newspaper Girl is there acting like she knows us, which is really strange. Nick then says to meet at the Memory Den, and we also level up and get Big Leagues rank 2, meaning our melee weapons now do a total of 40% extra damage, which is really good honestly. In Good Neighbour, we visit Dr. Armani, who hooks Nick and Stitchheart up to the system to explore Kellogg's memories. The memory sequence doesn't take too long. We then learn of Brian Virgil, a escaped Institute scientist living in the Glowing Sea, to hide from the Institute, avoiding them as much as possible. Dr. Armani is concerned, but we assure her we're fine as we still have our life and freedom. Nick's upstairs and we meet him for the last time. He says his farewells. As a little Easter egg, we also see Deacon in one of the memory chairs, which is pretty cool. We then get to the edge of the Glowing Sea, which is evident due to the dead trees and radioactive weather, but we skip the Children of Atom and go straight to Virgil's caves, because we are quite the clever clogs. However, we then see a Deathclaw, and we're not the clever clogs, as we could run away, but we duel the beast, and it's extremely tough, and it takes a lot of punishment from us, and we use bats on it several times. But we do take the Deathclaw down after a few attempts, as that was a pretty tough fight. We then go to Virgil and ask him to help us get inside the Institute. He says we need to kill a Corsair, so we hop to it. We head to Green Tech Genetics, where the gunners are holed up, and it's not too difficult, but a gunner with a missile launcher unalives us a handful of times. But once we take it a little more slowly and wait for him and use bats, we disarm him and put him down. We also level up and go for arguably the most useful melee perk for us in this whole run, which is Blitz. So now in bats, we can close the distance much quicker, increasing our melee range in bats. Combining that with Big Leagues, we can disarm opponents much easier. Once the Corsair is located, we use VATS and pummel him, disarming him and just continue mercilessly beating him into a corner, stun locking him until he falls. It was actually a really easy fight, and we get ourselves a Corsair chip. We now need to go and get it decoded, so we head over to the North Church, head to the basement, and do the ring puzzle, inserting the word Railroad. Surprise, surprise. We then get greeted, albeit as a hostile to the Railroad, and give them pretty much no information. We ask Desdemona to decode the Corsair chip, and she wants to keep it. Fine by us, at least she's had her morning tea this time. Deacon then offers us a job, and to get into the Railroad, we level up and go for moving target, which, while sprinting, gives us a plus 25 damage resistance and plus 25 energy resistance, which helps mitigate damage as we charge in and smack people in the face. We meet up with Deacon for our mission, and we meet with Ricky. He says our mark is very secure as there's personnel everywhere, which is not good for us. So we go through a tunnel and take out quite a few simps, and once through into the Railroad's old HQ, there are more simps that we take out, and then eventually we get to the vault. Deacon gives us the Deceiver, but we just drop it on the floor as we don't like it, and we get Carrington's prototype, which is what we came for. After exiting and going back to the Railroad, Desdemona lets us join the Railroad, and we go for the code name Fixer, as that seems about right. Dr. Carrington quickly assigns us a mission, so we get to it. We meet Stockton and agree to clear out the raiders at a church, and we get a level up after we do that and go for solar powered, letting us gain plus 2 strength and endurance from the hours of 6 AM to 6 PM. Then we meet High Rise and deal with some raiders, and then drop H222 at High Rise's apartment, completing the mission. We report back to Dr. Carrington and all is well. Pam then gives us a mission, which is exactly why we're here and what we want, and she wants us to clear an area and then place 2 turrets, which is really easy. Pam then gives us a second mission, which is the one we're after, and we also level up, gaining the armor perk rank 2, which is very useful. Anyway, Pam's mission sends us to a hospital overrun with super mutants, but we manage to get the catch and report back to Pam. We then speak to Tom to unlock Ballistic Weave, and we head straight to Diamond City, purchase what we need, and upgrade our armor fatigues with Ballistic Weave rank 3, giving us some much needed defences. We return to Virgil, Corsair chip in hand, and he kindly gives us the blueprints that we need to get in the Institute. We approach Desdemona, and she assigns Tinker Tom to build the teleporter ASAP. Once the teleporter is finished, Desdemona wants us to lie and make a cover story. However, we have other ideas in the Institute. Once in the Institute, we use the network scanner, Father introduces himself, and then we see the child simp, who wins the Oscar award for Best Dramatic Part. We then meet the loaf of bread himself, our son, and we agree to his demands for about 5 minutes, but we make a stop off at the shop and grab ourselves some synth armor, including the Mark II legendary helmet, which is really good. We also level up, putting our point into blacksmith. We then stealthily pick off some of the Institute's forces and deal with this lady who has a whopping 8 stim packs, which is really neat. After a few accidents, the coursers and father come after us, but it's not good for them at all. Thanks to the synth armor, guys, it fits really nicely, and you guys have actually suffered heavy losses and given us a load of XP, so thank you very much. We also take father's labs coat as a trophy and then head back because they can take our stitches, but they'll never take our freedom. With the whole fiasco at the Institute, we have 2 level ups and spend 1 level up in Big Leagues rank 3, upping our damage with melee weapons by a total of 60%, and Blacksmith rank 2, allowing us to upgrade our trusty lead pipe. We then go to the Radroaches settlement and upgrade our lead pipe to a heavy lead pipe, which is the best we can get with it. And as for our armour, we go for resin synth armour. Not the best, but certainly an improvement from what we had, which is always good. We give Desdemona the bad news and she directs us to the Minutemen, which is absolutely hilarious. So we go ahead and make our way to the Museum of Freedom, which is a cakewalk. We grab the Perception bobblehead, upping our perception by +1, making a total of 2. Talk to Preston Garvey, and once Preston says whatever he says, we go out to the roof, jump roof to roof till we hit the ground, and begin pummeling raiders like it's nothing. The Deathclaw, surprisingly enough, isn't actually that difficult thanks to our improved perks and our gear, so we beat it down with little to no effort. Preston thanks us, and we go to Sanctuary Hills. Hopefully we can just blast through this like we did here. Anyway, we help Tenpenny's bluff. I don't think there'll be any complaints here, and Preston promotes us because of it. Well, okay, Preston, guess they didn't make a fuss. Anyway, we give Sturgis the holotip, so that's good. We do the quest line, set up Sanctuary Hills for some free XP, and level up because of it. We decide to go for Rooted, which will up our damage and our damage resistance by +25 while standing still. Doesn't sound great, but in bats it will be super handy. We then capture some settlements by making sure there's no complaints, which works out brilliantly. Then report the great success to Preston, who sets us out on more quests for conquest. We're doing really well until we get one of the most powerful enemy we've ever faced. A immortal child. Thanks, Todd. Beaten by a child, because it just works, ladies and gentlemen. My word, logic just doesn't apply here. Anyway, we go to Grey Garden, where Supervisor White tasks us with finding out what the problem is with the water plant. Since they're robots, and they're cool, we get on with the quest, and outside it's guarded by a bunch of suitor mutants. They get some tough love from us, and we beat them back, and then we make it inside the water plant, and we see that it's flooded. So after battling some Mirelurks, we decide to drain it, and report back to Supervisor White, who really likes that, and decides to ally with the Minutemen. Preston is not impressed with our methods, but sets us with the fitting task of dealing with Finchley Farm. Once we get to Finchley Farm, they say their son has gone to join the Forged, a raider gang specialising in flame weaponry. Sounds like fun, and we fight our way through to the Forged boss, who has raider power armour. We have quite the fight with him, as for some reason he just punches really fast. But we take him down and go back to Finch Farm to a family dispute, but complete the quest and level up. We go for Adamantium Skeleton, reducing limb damage done to us by 30%. This will help out a heck of a lot. Preston then gives the go-ahead to take the castle, which is the Minutemen's former HQ, until it was overrun. We swim to the castle and we charge straight in, trying to take out as many Mirelurks as possible and keeping the Minutemen alive as much as possible. Our plan works, and once the Mirelurk Queen appears out the ocean, we have quite the fight on our hands. We make great use of the Blitz perk, which allows us to crudely but effectively deal with the Mirelurk Queen. It does cost us a lot of stim packs to do this, but it's a way to beat the Mirelurk Queen with melee. Sometimes the simplest answers are the best options. But then Preston grabs a flamethrower. Really wished he'd have done that sooner, but at least he used it, and that is probably one of the toughest single enemies this run. We also level up and get Adamantium Skeleton level 2, reducing limb damage by 60%, which is absolutely brilliant. We then fortify the castle and build lots of defences and start the quest Old Guns. We speak to Ronnie Shaw and go to the castle basement and meet Sarge, an old sentry bot. Thanks to Ronnie drawing Sarge's fire, we managed to sneak attack Sarge and use a critical on top of that, but absolutely huge damage. We then managed to beat him and then gain access to the armory and the artillery blueprint, allowing us to build artillery, which is great, as the boomer's spirit is still alive and well in Fallout 4. Preston says he's happy with us for once and wants us to capture more settlements, like it's out of fashion. Fair enough, but we also level up and go for the perk Ghoulish, so the more radiation we have, the more it heals us, which is most excellent indeed. After a couple of captures, Preston says the castle needs our help to defend against the Institute. Once we're there, Ronnie speaks to us and says she's got volunteers and the Institute have now been sighted. We see our 2 MVPs on the wall, gunning many of the Institute down, which is absolutely fantastic. One's got a minigun, one has a combat rifle, and our turrets, which is our wall of death, does its job absolutely amazingly. Even Preston uses flamethrower to decent effect, which is really good. Thank you very much, Preston. You're being useful, geezer. The coursers close in and are annoying as all hell due to their invisibility, but the Institute slowly fall because of our combined firepower and us smashing them in the face with our heavy lead pipe. And after all is said and done, we level up getting the toughness perk, letting us get plus 10 damage resistance. We then speak to Ronnie, who enjoyed showing the Institute what for, and then we speak to Preston, who sends us to Sturges. Sturges says he's found the way into the Institute by going through a waste pipe, which is pretty easy due to our Aquaboy perk helping us out. And yeah, once in the sewers, it's not long before we beat a couple of simps and get into the Institute maintenance pipe and pop out at the entrance. We use the relay and teleport everybody in like a big old party. Preston hands us a pulse charge, which is going to come in super handy to do a big boom. Our forces then go through the old robotics lab and the simps aren't too bad, simply smashing them in the face deals with them really effectively. And yeah, we even release a sentry bot at one point to devastate many sims, and it kind of backfires on us as it deals a lot of damage to us too, but we managed to beat it. We make our way into the Bioscience Division and the fight is very one-sided. We even managed to mace a gorilla in the face, which is just awesome. We then make our way into the main lobby. Preston melts faces all day long with his flamer. We smash the simps into submission. We then get to Farfetch Chambers and use the security override, letting us access advanced systems. We battle through and get to the reactor where lots of scientists and simps are waiting for us. But we place the charge, get teleported to the entrance. We don't let the child simp follow us as he's already got the Oscar. And Sturgis then teleports us out, letting us press the detonator, ending the run, answering the question, yes, you can beat Fallout 4 with a lead pipe. That was a very enlightening run, mainly because I thought the lead pipe would be a mediocre weapon at best, but it actually isn't half bad, and it proved to be a fairly decent melee weapon, which is pretty surprising. While it's not amazing or top tier, it did suffice at doing the task required, and it did fairly well, better than I thought, which is pretty cool. Nonetheless, like the video if you like the video, subscribe if you're new, and comment down below. It's really cool hearing from you lovely people. And also, you guys are just the best, as we've just recently hit 3,000 subscribers, which honestly, it just blows my mind. And we'll definitely be doing a video to celebrate that for sure. Anyway, stay tuned for that and join us in the next video, where we'll see if we can beat Far Harbor as the Silver Shroud, as it'll make for a nice change of scenery and be a lot of fun. Anyway, thank you for watching. You are all absolutely wonderful and amazing people. Have a beautiful, beautiful day and take care, guys. You are just the absolute best. Anyway, I'm Insane Frame, and bye-bye for now. Stay tuned for the next one.